Welcome back. Now, our next guest is a TV presenter whose iconic show, I used to love Staying Home for Trisha. It ran for years.
Yes. Recently, she spent 9 days inside the celebrity Big Brother house, which I'm sure felt like years. She joins us now to tell us more. Trisha Goddard, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Can I really be indulgent and say hello to my childhood friend Deirdre, who lives over there in Ireland. I'm not going to say where. And she and I lived a few doors away from each other. And Bridie, her mother, was the first person I ever knew that had breast cancer, weirdly enough, when I was like 12, 13 years old. So, you know, here we are again. But
yeah. Hi,
so
Deirdre.
Deirdre, you lived beside each other. Where was that?
In Virginia Water. Our parents were all both psych nurses, and Bridie, Deirdre's mother, and my mother were the closest of friends. So, you know, as a family, we kind of went through it, hearing about the breast cancer. And Deirdre is just one amazing, amazing woman. What she's done to help other people who are struggling and what have you, through her work. Deirdre!
But
hello.
you saw something like that, breast cancer, when you were so young, and your friend Deirdre was so young, and now you yourself have been dealing with cancer for so many years, because when you first originally got it, you ended up getting the all clear, Trisha.
Yeah, I had the all clear for what? My maths is terrible, but I had it in 2008. I was clear until 2022, and so it was something I didn't even really think about. It was like in the past, I always say some damn person has got to be a statistic. It might as well be me.
You were amazing, though, because you were on the television, this iconic show, for so long as well. You were going through this journey initially while being on the television as well. How difficult was that?
Well, I've done it twice, going through television. I've got to say, be honest, for me, it was easy because, as many women who've worked their entire lives, we almost end up feeling more comfortable working than not. We're not allowed to say that, but it's true. You know, you can be a mother. So that was my way of dealing with it. And the first time I went through breast cancer, I co-owned my own production company making the show. And the TV station basically said to my business partner, you do realise for every day that you don't make the show with Trisha, you will be fined. And there were 80 people relying on me to do, to work, for them to be employed, to be able to pay their mortgages and so on. So I just got off my backside. I said, you're all very sweet, but please, when I come to work, don't all ask me how I am, because there's one of me and 80 of you, and I'm here to escape how I am. So we had some funny times. Like my director would go in my earpiece, eyelash, because my false eyelash, because of course you've got no eyelashes or anything from chemo, my false eyelash would be sliding down one cheek.
Oh, my God.
Or, in the commercial break, throwing up in the waste bin. But we laughed. We laughed, and everybody who went through that, all my staff still to this day, and are now very senior in television, are dear, dear friends,
That, sorry, just sounds so mercenary, but of course you wanted to keep on going for other people. That, to try to go through that, as you're live on television, dealing with, I'm sure, the sweats, the vomiting, the nausea. Like, Trisha, that's...
The drama on the show.
No, and I've gone through it again because I was doing my talk TV show live from home. And when my hip smashed, which is how we found the cancer had come back, my husband, in the 4-minute ad break, would have to help me down the stairs with my nice little Zimmer frame to go to the loo. I mean, everybody knew that I'd smashed my hip right the second time around. What they didn't know, and I didn't reveal for, I think, 15, maybe 17 months, was that I was doing my show through weekly 4.5 months every week of chemo. And one time I I said to them, this show comes to you thanks to OxyContin, because I had to be drugged off my head for the pain. But I'm laughing because we had some funny times, you know, like, you know, sometimes I couldn't even tell you about, but there were times when I just fell apart and cried my heart out, you know, because my husband lost his first late darling wife to cancer. Yeah. And when it came back with me, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry to do this to you again, you know.
But thinking of other people, so as you mentioned, it's 2022 when you got the diagnosis again. You didn't reveal until 2024, I think it was, February 2024, that you had stage 4 cancer, which is currently what you're living with. And
yeah. And it's not, and one of my passions is to educate my fellow journalists that the term terminal is no longer used. We use life limiting, because there was a very interesting paper that came out from a very knowledgeable group of scientists that said we should be looking at stage 4 breast cancer as a serious chronic illness, along with motor neuron, you know, Parkinson's, dementia, because the leaps and bounds in managing it, which I have to say aren't available to all women, and which should be. And I'm kind of an optimal version. Do you know what I mean? I mean, stage 4 can mean a few cells that have escaped from the original cancer, or stage 4 is also the term used to someone who's had it spread to their kidneys, their lungs, their brain. So there's stage 4 and there's stage 4.
Yeah.
And we need to educate people about that, so when they hear it, they don't automatically. I've had press saying, you know, or people in my comments saying, in her dying days, you think she'd want to be with her family? You know, my oncologist has people 20 years on with this. So, you know, a lot of education needs to be done.
Well, is that why you went into the Big Brother house? Because you're saying to educate journalists, but yeah, obviously that's why you wanted to get that message out there on a national show too, again.
Not just journalists, but other people. I mean, I'd say 80% of the people in the house had a close loved one living with cancer, or who had just passed away with cancer. A friend of mine had passed away a few days, or a brother of a dear friend of mine had passed away a few days before I went into the house. It's everywhere, you know. In the UK alone, Macmillan has said by the end of this year, 3.4 million people living with. And you see, because people focus on the dying part, the services for the living bit are patchy. And I've had friends going through the same thing in the UK, and their eyes are on stalks about what I get. And, you know, no, I'm over 65, so I'm not paying for my healthcare in the United States. And the healthcare I get, which is for seeing issues that will come up in cancer right at the point of diagnosis, rather than putting out fires along the way, means that we can stay and work, means that we have better health and well-being. The services are extended to our loved ones, so they don't fall in a heap. You know, the American system's all about saving money, and oh yes, it's altruistic, but, you know, there's no reason other health systems can't do what my system does. Give me a nutritionist, give me gym help, give me all of those things, so I don't fall in a heap, so I can keep working and keep paying the good old taxes.
Well, there you go, which certainly an issue in America. Now, let's go back to the fact you went into the Big Brother house. And the one person that everyone is chatting about, Trisha, it is Mickey Rourke. What was it as mad as we're seeing on the television? Have you watched any of it? It felt very intense.
Madder.
Okay.
Right.
Was it?
Look, he himself spoke about it. He's a very damaged person. You know, if ever there was a lesson about, you know, children, you know, needing support, and not every child, in fact, a lot of children have very difficult beginnings, and he did. He got into boxing to escape the violence at home, and he knew his currency was, and some may say still is, if challenged, violence. No, he talked about taking his joy of his dogs who were so close to him and taming wild dogs. And, you know, I put to him there were similarities that you can try and tame a wild dog, but at some stage you will look at it or do something that it will trigger that wild dog and it will go for you. So he had, it's light and shade. Nobody's all dark, you know, and that's what I was trying to, I think the older ones in the house, especially me and Daly, and to a certain extent Danny, were trying to get across to other people. It's easy to see somebody as all bad and cancel them, what I call, you know, finish with them, have nothing to do with them. But you have to give people chances, and when they cross a certain line, yes, they go. But you don't cancel them. You don't, you know, cancel them right from the word go. You don't. You really have to give people some opportunity to redeem themselves, or at least explain themselves.
Absolutely. Listen, it is very interesting, and this whole Mickey Rourke area is fascinating viewing, and yeah, unfortunately he was out of that as well. I know you had a good chat with him, so good on you for that. Trisha, it's inspiring to hear you speak and, you know, about your journey and everything you're going through. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
And thank you so much for giving me the time and the platform to start spreading a very important message. And my heart goes out to all of you who are either living with cancer or have a loved one living with cancer. Mwah.
Really appreciate it, Trisha. She's got her gym gear on because she's going out for a run in rainy England. Trisha Goddard, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Lots more to come on Ireland AM, but now it's time to...